he crushed us both on this one.
Oh yeah.
Bring on the next one. This is gonna be savage.
All right. Well, this one is another, a crowd pleaser, and it's one that they're obviously expecting. You pick a battle. The reversal of this battle would lead to of any battle you can pick. Which one, if reversed, would lead to the most interesting scenario?
Oh, gonna have to think about that.
You got everything out there. You got Battle of Midway. You got anything you can imagine.
Ooh.
Siege of Vienna. All the big ones.
I think I have one.
I usually would go with another one, but I'm sticking with the U4 team and going with Battle of Varna 1444.
Okay.
Oh.
Cody, what do you got?
It's not really a battle. I'm just gonna go with all of the Fourth Crusade sack against Constantinople.
That works. Yeah, if the result of the first siege was reversed, and the Crusaders somehow maybe got a plague and died.
Yes, if that just didn't happen.
A storm hit them on the Adriatic, and they all died.
didn't go as far as they did, or slaughter the entire population, or anything. There was a lot that could have just gone differently. They didn't
slaughter anybody
in Constantinople.
Yeah, they killed very few people.
They still sacked the city and left the institution weak. We're saying that for the debate, so that's why I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's baiting you to that.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I'm the Pacific War Channel, so I don't want to be cliche and pick like a Pacific, like Midway or Pearl Harbor or something. I'm gonna try and narrow. I'll try and narrow it down to a World War I battle. I'm just because it's World War I is just like it's actually like 30 battles that could have just tipped the scales. The first Battle of the Marne. So one of the earliest battles that occurs.
That works.
All right.
I think it's the most significant, actually.
I went first last time, maybe. So either you or Cody.
I guess I can go.
Sure.
I guess I'll go. Okay. So, yes, granted this. So Constantinople. Granted, it's not really a battle per se. I mean, it is a battle, but I would say the change here would simply be that the city doesn't lose its defenses and it isn't sacked. And yes, as you said, a lot of people were not killed, but what it did do is it weakened the empire just enough that it led to the Latin Empire, and it eventually led to the fall of Eastern Rome as we know it once the Turks eventually enveloped the city, a few hundred years later. But it was the thing that started it all in the first place. So even if the battle itself isn't as eventful, and Rome's get sacked from time to time, it was the definitive one that led to eventually the Ottomans as we know them taking over the Eastern Mediterranean.
Well, you still have 30 seconds if you want it.
Oh, I do have 30 seconds. I will say
why would that be a cool scenario?
Why would it be okay, so in terms of like why would it be very influential? I mean that changes basically Renaissance Europe leading into the pre-modern age, because the Ottomans were were kind of the biggest competitor to the Austrians and Italians and the Eastern Europe, and just the change from the fall of you're making me explain it, and now I have
I know.
By the way, I heard you say the Aladdin Empire instead of the Latin Empire. I was like, Aladdin Empire? What happened there?
No, it's the Aladdin Empire 2, Rise of Jafar, the Return of Jafar. So that's what
I was gonna say. My Crusader knowledge isn't that good, but I'm like, I heard Aladdin. I was like, wait, what?
Sorry, I have a terrible problem pronouncing my T's, so I have to say Latin. The Latin.
Latin.
Yes, not Latin.
All right. I'm realizing now that I am not a scholar. World War One. I'm gonna try and remember okay, I think I remember this battle pretty well. I know the underlying principle of what screwed this up. All right,
gotta break out a book.
So to set it up, I think a lot of people who know a little bit about World War One know about the Schlieffen Plan. So the whole idea behind it was to take the fist of Germany and put about 90% of that and just knock out the West first, and then come back and, you know, just push over the Russians. They were basically suckers this whole time, anyways. But von Moltke, the younger, he screwed it all up, and this really happened during the First Battle of the Marne. So there was like kind of three things that he really messed up. First of all, the placement of where he was putting his units. He kind of saw that the French were going to attack Alsace-Lorraine, and he freaked out, even though part of the actual Schlieffen Plan was to allow the French to get in there so they could be encircled, because you take away their logistics. And then to add insult to injury, for no apparent reason, he takes 4 units and he sends them all the way back to the Eastern Front to help like Hindenburg and Erich von Ludendorff defeat the Russians. They don't even get there in time. And Hindenburg and Ludendorff, they win this incredible victory without them, just smash the Russians. It's really embarrassing. So they weren't necessary. And basically, the argument is by a lot of historians that this, amongst the other battles in the first, few months of 1914, they would have took France. They would have took Paris. They already had northern France. They had the industrial sector. So this effectively, this probably would have won World War I for them, because the British were going to just run to their boats at that point. And I think we can all agree, if Germany won World War I, especially that early on, we're looking at a lot less blood and probably a better world, more peaceful. Done.
That was a hot take. Hot take.
Hot take.
European Union 100 years ago. That's what it would have led to.
And it'll still crumble.
It'll.
Speaking of European unions.
Oh, yes. God. Here we go.
The Battle of Varna is profoundly impactful, and if it was reversed, and it almost happened, the Europeans charged into the Ottoman camp, and they almost did it, if not for the king of Hungary, Poland, and Lithuania dying as young as he was. Should the Europeans take that battle, the Ottomans are done. We're talking Ankara. We're talking a very young Mehmed who has no one to lead him, a devastated Ottoman army, a rejuvenated Byzantine Empire, a united morale between the Europeans, a legitimacy for this guy with Janos Hunyadi being his right-hand man, incredible general that would have pushed the Ottomans all the way back to Asia. We're talking about a scenario where, on the Battle of Varna, there was a Bulgarian pretender who was ready to retake the Bulgarian land. So Bulgaria would be reinstated, the Balkans would be free from all Ottoman influence, and the Ottomans, as we know them in our timeline, would be completely gone. Just imagine that. 1444, Constantinople doesn't fall, the Catholic League establishes a huge bond. You have a whole block on the east or Central Europe being unified by this victory. And of course, like all doubts would be put to rest. This would create a new dynasty between these 3 massive nations, including Croatia even. And how cool would this be? I'm about to rip these other 2 guys apart and say how their reversal of their battles barely leads to nothing. But my scenario, just think what the lack of Ottomans would do for the whole world.
No, the Ottomans weren't around during World War One.
You know what I'm gonna say? Georgi's argument was so good. I can't. That's the better Ottoman argument, I would say. That blows mine out of the water. So much so, I'm gonna change my battle midway through. I know I can't do that, but I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna change it to the Battle of San Juan Hill.
Brakes aren't working. No, I'm saying no. The brakes. Guys, why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes. Wild card, bitches. Yeah!
What?
And it's even though it's very unlikely. The Americans had 8,000 troops and the Spanish only had like 500. I don't know how Spain would lose that. But if future President Teddy Roosevelt somehow led the charge and lost, that would change his political record forever. That would change his path to the White House. That would change how we're on my argument right now, right? I'm not.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Okay, that would change how trust busting and going after the monopolies would go in the early 20th century. Because if San Juan Hill had been lost somehow, then Teddy Roosevelt wouldn't be the political figure that we had. One of the best, in my opinion, presidents the U.S. ever had. The best, I will say.
Whoa.
We have the same opinion.
Except for the Latin American stuff, they kind of did a little bit. Other than that, I would say he's
Banana Republics.
the best. Yeah, just a few bananas in the republics. It's okay.
Wow, that's a first
So
on
what
the
if he had a
show,
few
but I really liked it.
relatives- few relatives who own rights in those republics.
Oh yeah, just stuff better than Woodrow Wilson. So
Oh, screw Woodrow Wilson.
yeah, as Cypher often says. So
Okay, so yeah, I actually freaking Teddy's my favorite freaking president. I'm sure everyone on this on it watches this knows that because I keep bringing him up. So now I got to go after Teddy. Okay.
oh no,
All right.
I know it was a little underhanded. I apologize.
No. I'm gonna go after Georgi first, though.
Go on.
So the reason why Cody, he got out of the whole Constantinople thing is because it was gonna fall anyways. Like, come on, it's insignificant. How many names has the place had? Sorograd, as you used to say, Milkovad, Istanbul. Now, like, it was coming at any point. And as for the Ottomans, like, oh, whoop-de freaking do. They have like their little grace period for a few hundred years, and then they become the sick man of Europe by like the 19th century. It's not a big whoop-de-do. The Ottomans, what did they actually do? And then as for Teddy, yeah, if he somehow lost that colossally one-sided battle, I mean, he would just go on to, write more of those 1812 books where he just talks about the naval battles and doesn't acknowledge Canada won the war. And then he would probably go off into the wilderness and, build another ranch. But I think he'd still become president because there's no stopping that man. Asthma didn't stop him. So just a few Spaniards on a hill.
Bullet didn't stop him.
A bullet didn't stop
A
him.
bullet didn't stop him either. Yeah, thank you. So Teddy's still going to become president. I'm done.
Okay, this debate is totally hitting the fan, so I will change my approach as well.
It's just going to go into Teddy posting. That's all it's going to go into.
No. I'm going all in on the sack because if the question is which reversal would make for the best alternative history hub video, it's so weird because